Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Wow, has life been throwing me challenges lately? I'm not turning this into like a sad story or, like woo me or poor me or anything like that. But I want to be brutally honest with you and know that whatever's going on in your life, like other people, like we all have hiccups and bumps, and sometimes they're huge, ginormous detours going on in our life. So I want to be honest. For the first time ever, since I've launched this podcast, Loving Me, Myself, and Life, I didn't show up one Sunday. I was frustrated about it. And the funny thing is, I actually had an episode, or I thought I had an episode recorded for it. It was a half-hour episode. I thought it was full of awesomeness, and I was having a good old time putting all that information out. And then it went to go to be edited, and it didn't work. My computer shut off in the middle of saving, and we tried to recover it beforehand, and it just didn't work. So that's where it was. So I did try to show up, even though other things in my life weren't so great. So I might have mentioned this before, but I actually try to have at least 4 weeks of content, especially for the podcast, ready to go, because I know life happens. Life is always constantly going up and down. I'm a mamapreneur. I have 2 young kids. Life happens. So what happened? Well, first off, I took 2 weeks off. Silly me in hindsight. No, I'm kidding. 2 weeks off because my kids were home for spring break. And I really like to be around. And, they're young, and I try to take in as much time as possible with them. So I took that time off. Now, I had a couple hours here and there. I did do a little bit of things for my business because, honestly, it brings me so much joy. However, having 2 kids home running around, I didn't have that kind of energy I like to put into my podcast and different content. I really like to, there's so much I do to kind of up my energy to make sure I'm fully coming and be like fully in like authentic and just, right there for you and fully energized. So it just was not happening over the spring break. I did have content I recorded earlier, like I knew it was coming and I planned for those things. However, what happened next was not planned. It was the week after spring break where I had 3 days. I'm like, okay, these are my content creating days. Like, I'm going to do this. And then we had a family emergency, like not huge or anything. But my daughter hurt her foot, and then it just, there's a hospital visit, and she stayed home from school one day because her foot was really sore. Like, it was nothing serious in hindsight, but we had to get it checked out and make sure everything was okay. There's just a lot of pain and things like that. So that whole week kind of it threw me upside down, and, it didn't have those days for content creating, because again, energy. I didn't have like one night of like no sleep, fun mom stuff. Anyways, and then after that week, I got a cold, a pretty tense one. So it was been crazy. And now, like, no more, complaining or, talking about the things that have gone wrong. Because when things go wrong, we can either complain about it. We can like, oh, poor me. Like, this sucks. Like, why is this happening to me? And we can go through that like really negative roller coaster ride. Or we can just take a step back and be like, why are these things showing up for me? What is going on? And so I laid in bed a lot because it took me out pretty good. So I had a lot of time to reflect. And I was really impressed, actually, of how far I've come on my self-love journey because I gave myself some crazy amount of TLC, something I really needed. Having 2 weeks of spring break with my kids. Sure, I had a little bit of me time here and there woven in. But that week after with my daughter's foot injury and just different sleepless nights, I kind of took a little bit of a backseat to my life and my self-care. And then, that cold reminded me, like, slow down, Jody, take care of you. See, the thing is, years ago, before I began my self-love journey, I never took a sick day. I had them available. They were paid and everything. And if I didn't use them, I never ever saw the money or anything from them. But I felt back then that if I took it, I wasn't worthy or something was wrong with me or I wasn't good enough. And, it's so crazy to think like that now for me personally, but I know a lot of people still struggle with that. Whereas, you have a hard day or even your emotions, an emotional day off is okay too. Say you have a lot of things going on personally and you're just like, I can't wrap my head around this. It is okay to take a sick day. And you don't have to be like physically sick. You could just be like, I need like a personal day to check in with myself and heal, or like it could be a healing an emotion or a trigger, anything, a healing an old thought or belief and rewriting your story. I remember this is like probably 2005 or 2006, possibly a little later, but I feel like it was around there. And I worked in a warehouse and we did morning warm-ups and stuff like that. And I took charge because I was teaching fitness classes as well at the time. So I kind of was like, hey guys, like if we're going to warm up and stretch in the morning, let's do this right. So I stepped up to do it. And I remember one morning and I had a cold and I was trying to do the warm up. I'm literally coughing and all this stuff through the whole entire warm up. I could have stayed home, but for some reason, my crazy brain thought it was more important to show up and show that whatever, I'm tough. I got a cold, but I can do this. Now, there's many reasons why I'm like shaking my head now, going like, the world has taught us things. Like when you're sick, just stay home. And it's not just to like, yes, you don't want to get other people sick, but you also like when you're sick, take care of you. So where am I getting with all this craziness is not selfish. It's necessary. And what I've learned like from then, that was over 15 years ago where I could have had a paid sick day. And now you fast forward to now where I have 2 kids that rely on me and I'm my own boss now. So calling in sick, it's like, well, I'm not going to answer the phone, right? So, we sometimes don't realize how good we have it like for certain things until it's gone. And one of them are sick days, to be honest. Here's the thing. Slowing down is so necessary for so many reasons. And when we don't listen to our bodies or even our minds and we don't slow down, something shows up to help us slow down, like my cold and other things that can be emotional outbursts. All of a sudden anger pops up or sadness. All these things are coming to show up to tell you to slow down. And when we slow down, that is when we really get to listen to what our body needs, our mind needs, and our soul needs. And that is why self-care is so necessary. When we're constantly going, and giving, we have nothing left to give ourselves. And it can be this like fun balance of things. And honestly, I have had a hard time figuring out the self-care thing, even though I've been on this, I've been doing self-care for so long. I talk about it. I know how important it is. And I've too have struggled. So I think this is something very important to talk into. And that's why I'm going to make this a 2-part episode where I'm going to also share how to get back on the self-care wagon. What can you do if you've fallen off over the past couple of years, or if you're just struggling, you're like, what is going on? Like, I know how important it is. People keep saying it and all this stuff. Because I too have struggled and I still struggle. Heck, man, I got knocked down by a cold. So in the next episode, I'm going to share about how to get back on the wagon, or maybe self-care, just you haven't really clicked with how to get it into your life. You're like, oh my goodness, one more thing I have to add into my life, or you just don't know where to start. I am going to talk into it. And yeah, like, let's do this. Self-care is not selfish. It is super duper necessary for you, for the people in your life. Here's an example. Think back to a time when you were really happy, or even like somewhat like things were just flowing in life. Things just felt flowy. Now think about, what were the things you were doing? Did they bring you joy or did they not? My guess is they were bringing you joy, and you're filling your cup, your self-love cup, on some form, some kind of level. Now think about a time where you feel like you're exploding, or like you're angry, or you're sad or disappointed, and just things, you felt like you were walking against a wall and you just couldn't find a door. Like you just bang, 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 like you just, nothing was flowing. Then think about, what were you doing around that time? Were you filling up your own cup? Or were you giving, or just doing a lot of, saying yes to things that was not bringing you joy, like doing a lot of things that just weren't serving you? My guess is that's probably happened too. So like I said, self-care is necessary, not selfish. And I completely understand if you struggle with this, because like I shared about having a cold way back, like over 15 years ago. And I just thought, whatever, like, I didn't put myself first. I didn't put my needs first. And now in my life, where I have other people that I need to feed and take care of, it's this fine balance between making sure I take care of myself. Because if I'm not useful, like if I'm stuck in bed for a week, like luckily, thank goodness, I have my husband that was like, made sure I got fed and took care of me. But not everybody does. And like, you got to take care of you so you can take care of the others in your life. In this way too, you can show up in like a loving, amazing energy instead of this angry or sad or, just feeling like this negative energy. It helps us really flow through life instead of beating ourselves up and hitting walls along the way. Yes, like things will show up in our lives, and things may go a little crazy or sideways. And the person I was over 15 years ago, I would have really beat myself up. Now, I still got angry at getting a cold that other week because I just wanted to be better. But that I'm going to share more of what came out of those moments in the next episode, because some really amazing things arrived, or like I really found myself again while getting sick. So like I said, you can complain about things, or you can take things and go like, what can I learn from this? Or how can I turn this around? Now, it's not about pushing down emotions. I owned my anger. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm so angry right now. I just want to be better. Like, why is this not going away? And then I had to go deeper into my self-love and practice some insanely radical self-care and self-love. So again, I will share more on self-care and getting back to you, getting back to this place of loving energy and making time for you. Because again, maybe you already know it's important, but maybe you just haven't found the time. Life's busy. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, and stay tuned for the next part. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And don't forget, take care of you. Bye for now.